A security camera captured 27-year-old medical student Brian Shaffer walking into a crowded second-floor bar. Minutes later, hundreds of people walked out. Brian never did. Nearly 20 years later, no one has ever proved how he got out. No security camera ever captured him leaving. From that moment on, Brian Shaffer simply vanished. How does a grown man vanish from a crowded bar without anyone seeing him leave? Was it a calculated escape, a tragic accident, or a perfect crime? To understand the impossible, investigators had to start with a single frame of footage. Friday, March 31st, 2006, Brian is exhausted. Just 3 weeks after losing his mother to cancer, he is pushing through the brutal pressure of medical school. He desperately needs a break. On Monday, he is scheduled to fly to Miami with his girlfriend. To blow off steam, he hits the bars in Columbus, Ohio. He starts his night with his friend Clint Florence. Around midnight, they meet up with another friend, Meredith Reed. At 1:15 a.m., they arrive at a popular spot called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. To get inside, patrons must ride an escalator up to the second floor. At the top sits a security camera. It records Brian, Clint, and Meredith riding up. Brian looks relaxed in a green striped shirt. At 1:55 a.m., the bar announces last call. The camera catches Brian one last time. He is standing just outside the entrance, briefly talking to two young women. He says goodbye, turns his back to the lens, and walks directly back toward the bar doors. That is the last confirmed sighting of Brian Shaffer. At 2:00 a.m., the music stops. The crowd empties out. Clint and Meredith wait at the bottom of the escalator as hundreds of people stream past them. Brian isn't one of them. They dial his phone. It goes straight to voicemail. Assuming he just walked home, they leave. But Brian never made it home. And when police finally looked at that security footage, they were about to discover something even stranger. Monday morning arrives. Brian misses his flight to Miami. His girlfriend panics. His family calls the police, and investigators immediately pull the Ugly Tuna's security tape. They watch Brian walk in at 1:15 a.m. They see him on the landing at 1:55 a.m. Then, they watch the bar completely empty out. They watch until the doors are locked and the staff leaves. Brian does not appear. Did the camera miss him in the crowd? Investigators spend days analyzing the tape frame by frame. Using receipts and witness accounts, they track down the patrons. Despite repeatedly reviewing the footage, investigators never found a clear recording of Brian leaving through the main entrance. So, how did he get out? Behind the bar was a service elevator and a set of emergency doors meant strictly for staff, leading into a dark, debris-filled alley. A backdoor escape was technically possible. But what investigators found next made even detectives question the evidence. Police deploy search dogs. They let them catch Brian's scent inside the bar, and the dogs track it straight to the back emergency exit. But at the alley doors, the scent just stops. It doesn't trail down the street. It doesn't lead into the nearby construction pits. It vanishes. Police tear the construction site apart. They check dumpsters, search sewers, and drag the nearby Olentangy River. Nothing. They interrogate the band that played that night, checking their roadie cases to see if Brian could have hidden inside. The cases are far too small to hold a grown man. They track down the two women Brian spoke to at 1:55 a.m. The conversation was completely normal. He wasn't acting afraid. He explicitly told them he was going back inside to find his friends. The physical evidence was at a complete dead end. Then came a digital clue nobody could explain. For months, Brian's bank accounts remain untouched. His credit cards are silent. His car sits parked at his apartment. His girlfriend, refusing to give up, calls his cell phone every single night before bed. Usually, it goes straight to voicemail. Until one night in September, she dials the number. The phone rings. It rings 3 times. Terrified and confused, she immediately contacts the authorities. Investigators trace the ping. The signal hit a cell tower in a suburb 14 miles away. A massive search is organized. Is Brian being held somewhere? Did someone finally turn his phone on? Police demand the tower data from the carrier. The result is crushing. It was a system glitch. The phone had never been turned on. The network simply rerouted the call incorrectly. Without a body and without a crime scene, the investigation stalled. Then, The case took a turn nobody expected. Over the years, investigators have considered three possible explanations. The first theory is that Brian chose to disappear on his own. After losing his mother and dealing with the pressure of medical school, some believe he decided to start a new life. But that theory has serious flaws. Brian left behind his passport, his money, and the girlfriend he was planning to travel with. Vanishing without leaving a single digital trace is extremely difficult. The second possibility is a tragic accident. Perhaps Brian left through the back exit, wandered into the dark construction area, and suffered a fatal fall. But once again, the evidence doesn't support it. Police searched the area with dogs and ground-penetrating radar, yet found nothing. The final theory is foul play. Investigators looked closely at Brian's friend, Clint Florence, after he refused a polygraph test and hired a lawyer. However, refusing a polygraph is not evidence of guilt. It's common legal advice, and police have never found any physical evidence linking Clint or anyone else to Brian's disappearance. In the end, every theory raises new questions, but none of them fully explains how Brian Shaffer disappeared without a trace. The Ugly Tuna Saloona is gone. The building has been completely remodeled, yet the Columbus Police Department still keeps Brian Shaffer's file open. To this day, Brian Shaffer has never been found, and the case officially remains unsolved. On Monday, April 3, 2006, a plane to Miami took off without Brian Shaffer. His girlfriend waited for a trip that would never happen. The geometry of the mystery has never changed. A man walks into a room. The only door out is watched by a camera. He never walks through it. Nearly 20 years later, investigators are still asking the same impossible question. Not who took Brian Shaffer, but how a man could disappear from a room everyone else managed to leave.